Hey everyone, PlusOne here. As many of you probably know, as a hikers, a lot of us use the app FarOut for navigation. So this is a little showcase of how to use the app, some of the features it has. I'm using it on an Android right now, but I also show how to do some of the things that an Android can, that an iPhone I don't think they can do it like as quick, but there is other way around it. And that would be to see how much feet is going up and down for this next section you want to do. There's also a social aspect of it where you can actually follow other hikers and leave comments and stuff for each other. So check it out. I'll show you. Well, that's my phone. So I'll show you FarOut. This is the app that every hiker is using, pretty much. Update guides, remind me later. Probably should do that. So the first thing in here is up here. We have explore guides, and as far as I remember, this is where you can search in the top. And this is where you can find pretty much all the guides. You can see I have apparently there's an Australian guide there, I don't know about that, but the PCT guide. And the first one is free, so if you just want to go in here and check out the first section, you can always go in and click the top one. That way you can see how the app works with the PCT map, if you want to. And then you have these next 5 sections down here. I'm currently in the PCT share section. So we open that up. And I think it normally has the download too, if you haven't already. Now, sometimes, if I click this, you can't see me. I don't know. Down here, when I zoom in, you see the little blue dot there in the center of the screen? That's me. Right there, the little blue dot in the middle. If I click it, now it disappears. Put it on. I can also click up here in the top right corner. That will zoom me down to where I am right now, which is at Larry's place. Now, I'm gonna be heading back to trail somewhere up here. So I can zoom in from the top right. There's a few settings, I forgot exactly where it is. So you can see, like, you know, the topo lines here on the maps. I can see, I think it's in meters, 2100, 2200. This is the icons on the map. So this red line is the trail. And I can click down on the bottom of the screen right now. I can click the arrows to go back or forward to the next point. See that chimney camera is actually where we're gonna hit the trail again, pretty much where we were. So we have these watermarking icons. I can pull the screen up, and often there will be pictures too here. I can pull it further up, and then I can go down, and it says something about there's water, tent sites. I click on comments, and under here you see water, connectivity, camping, conditions, trail magic, lost and found. This is a new thing where you can categorize your text. You see a lot of these have the symbol of a watermark, so that's what it's about. So if we keep going down, maybe there's another there. iberry.1221 has a little purple one. I think that's the trail magic. That's also what the comment is saying. So that's a new thing they added. This is pretty much how so I go to Crimney Creek, right? I go to the comment section. I see nice flowing water by Happy Feet here. Give him a like, or her. And I see that it's Tuesday, it's in Danish, Tuesday, May 27th. I'm gonna pull this down here, and I say it is Friday the 30th, right? So this is a 3-day-old comment. It's flowing well. That means most likely I can count on this water source, right? I could also see there's a bunch of comments that this is supposedly a good water source. Then we got the tent sites, which is these little brown ones. Often there will be pictures that have an idea, but in general what we go for, there's the about section. Often has some useful info, but I really try to go for the comment section here. You can also add a comment in here, and I can write something, and I can add it, and it will stay there until I get signal. As soon as I can signal, it uploads it to, to the app. And yeah, this is pretty much how we can communicate. So the people ahead can communicate with the people behind. We go back here, and we go all the way up here. See the map, it continues. The green ones, I think, is just, yeah, National Forest border. It's just like extra info. The purple is in general towns. We see the orange ones is normally stores. So we see up here, where we're hopefully going to be in a couple of days, come into Sherman Pass Road. Then we can hike to Kennedy Meadows General Store. Let's open that up. So the about. You see the phone numbers, email addresses, address to send posts, all kind of good info here. You can also see the icons here. Under About, the orange one is like a shopping wagon, and you see a post office, tenting, eating, laundry, people, Wi-Fi. So this is also kind of like showing what this place has to offer. And again, often you go into the comment section and you see what has the recent people said, hikers. What is the most recent news, because things change. The blue line you see here it's like a side trail, or like it's a road here. Down here we have Grumpy's Retreat, and we also have Triple Crown Outfitters. And I'm pretty sure up here there's actually Two Foot Adventures also have something. Anyway, this is one way to look at a map. So let's say right now I'm not on trail, so it won't show me exactly. If I click on this one, right, it'll show, if you look all the way in the bottom of the screen, it'll say Kennedy Meadows, mile 700.8, and then elevation. That's like the elevation of that point. It'll also show me that it's 59.6 miles ahead, and I have to do an ascent of 10,600 feet and descent of 11,000 feet. Now, I'm on a Samsung Galaxy phone, and generally I think Android, the app for Android, show this ascent and descent. But I actually don't think the iPhone does. I could be wrong there. It didn't used to, and I don't think it does for Dammit Man either. He has an iPhone. However, since I'm not on trail, right, I can click this location icon up in the right corner here. Brings me back to where I am. I'm zooming out with my fingers here. See all these towns out here, like Isabella, Kernville, Walker Pass is down here. So I should technically, let's say normally people get back on Walker Pass. Let's click on that. What does it show? 12 miles ahead. So when I'm off trail, it doesn't really know where I am. So that's kind of wrong. However, this will show as soon as I'm on trail, it's very easy to see the miles ahead or miles behind ascent and descent. Another thing we can do is we click, let me see if I can do it. I gotta remove this recording thing. Up in the right corner, I can click the mountains. I think I can also do it down further below. I'll click the mountains up here, and that'll show me the elevation profile. Remove that. Now I'm using my fingers to stretch it out or in. If you look up in the top, now it says 36.6 miles. That's the whole from one side to another. I can just drag it over. So let's say this next section from mile 700. I see 700 down there. Let's do the next 50 miles. That requires a little bit of finesse here with the fingers to try and find around 50 miles. That's close enough. Let's say we start around 700 right after. So just 700 is gone. That's pretty much Kennedy Meadows right there somewhere. Actually, it might actually be up here. Give me a sec. That should be Kennedy Meadows on the left. And then we can see from Kennedy Meadows south, hiking out the next 15.2 miles. This is the elevation or the elevation profile. Oof, sometimes it moves. On the left side, I can see elevation in feet. I can see up top, total ascent is 10,500 feet up. Total descent, 5,100 feet down over the next 50 miles. And then there is like an average per mile thing there. Normally I divide it by myself. I would normally say, okay, it's 10,500 feet divided by 50.2 miles. That gives me an idea of the elevation gain. I can of course zoom in. I can adjust this up and down to make it look less terrible. So let's say, okay, we're gonna do a 20 mile day today, right? Out of Kennedy Meadows. Probably won't. That was pretty good. Let's say we start right there. How is the first 20 mile day gonna look? 20 miles out of Kennedy Meadows south would then be 5,200 feet up, 1,100 feet down, 21 miles. So I think this is actually how a lot of iPhone users uses it. You kind of have to figure out how many miles am I looking ahead. And you can look even just for like, let's say you see this climb right here. I'll zoom in, right? Have it right in the middle. I keep zooming right there. That seems to be pretty much the climb. And that's like, oh, it's a 2,300 feet climb. But a lot of time I'll just use the icons and I can see it. As you see below here, the next it says 80 miles is 1,400 feet up. The icons we have, pipe gates. The most useful, of course, is the blue ones, which shows water. The tent sites. There is sometimes we still look through the comments on everything. So I'll just scroll through here, click the scroll, that'll go me to the next one that says South Fork Kern River. and I have the comment section open, as you can see here. And that way I just keep going next, and I'm checking, because sometimes there's also water at roads. There could be water that's not marked on the map. So that's one way of doing it. See, there's a little camera there, Ovens Valley. That's probably a good view spot. I'm wondering if that were Cannonball got a photo. Then we got the warnings, multi-pass junction. Don't know what there's a warning for, but sometimes it could be something bad. Chicken Spring Lake. I think I remember this from 22. Yep. That's a very cool looking lake. Another one there. Let's go through. I think if we go far enough. Meadows. There we go. We got a mountain up there. Forest of Parth. Oh, no snow. Yeah, that's not how it's going to be when we get there. That lake that you see in this picture, that's where I nearly died in 2022. Anyway, that looks more right. That's pretty much how the map works. You can also, there's a few other things here that people might not know about this app. If you go into here, you can use the list. This people might notice. Sometimes you have to click back in the top of the screen here. And you can actually go in, there's a list of everything. Water. I normally don't use a lot of these other ones, but I tend to use this one, towns. This is really nice when you haven't done the trail before. You got to realize what is the next section, right? So let's say, what are we getting at here? I have no idea why South Lake Tahoe is on the top. That normally goes in order. I think that's a mistake, because it should be down here in the bottom. But in Mojave, we came there from there. We got to Tehachapi. Lake Isabella is where we are right now. Kernville and Yoke and Onyx. Well, Onyx is where we are. Ridgecrest, that's all at Walker Pass. Next is Kennedy Meadows South. So we click in on that, and it'll show you a list of everything in here. It's pretty cool. Another thing you can actually use this, and I don't think a lot of hikers actually know about this. Social feed. It might lag a little bit. It's always very slow when it comes in here. I think it's because I tend to use it a lot earlier, back in the day, and it just takes a lot of loading time. All right, there we go. So I have here, as you see top, hikers I follow and follows. So we can actually, I can send a check-in here. If you see in the middle, I can click that, and I can send in a text, and it will show you the mile marker. Let's do the one here with Roadrunner says. 13th of May at 14:48, North Virginia, West Virginia. This shows a mile marker. It is finished. This is where it ends. This is lagging way too much right now. So I'll just explain it. You have hikers I follow. I can view the list. There's you see 21 followers view list that's following me, and I can send a check-in. And you see Roadrunner down there sent a check-in on May 13th about her finishing her, I think, 80 part of the trail. So I do have Roadrunner there and a bunch of other hikers. So you can actually find with, you know, their name. They have a different kind of name in here in the app. Up in the right corner, you can see the little person with a plus. So you can add other hikers. Yeah, so my phone really lags when it's in this section. However, this is a way you could do it as check-ins. It'll show you the mile marker. It'll actually show you a little icon of where you were. So that is another thing you can use this app for. And then you can also go into my account. We see +1 here. Profile is public. Yes. Just stop because it's actually working. US phone number. Yeah, don't mind that. That's not valid anymore. That's an old one. And you can see last time here I did some check-ins. 2025, mile 146, March 28th, 19.5 miles a day today, longest by far. I did some check-ins in the beginning. I haven't really. Last year I did a section. You can see I did check-ins pretty much daily here. I actually used it kind of like as notes. You can see it's almost like a little diary here. That's some long texts. But yeah, that's pretty much FarOut. I don't know if there's much else to show. Of course, then you got down here, the right corner, you got checking settings. Sorry. But yeah, this is pretty much it. This is how it looks like. It's great. You're on the red line. You're hiking. Yeah. If you want to do any kind of side trails here, you gotta probably find another app or something. Because you know it's very limited to the PCT, but for that it's pretty great. And it shows every icon what mile marker that is on the PCT, and I got it set up to being a northbounder. So that is pretty much how it works. But you can go check it out for free. go download FarOut, and you can always download the first 77 miles of the PCT. That section is free, and then you can check it out yourself. I hope this is useful, but yeah, great idea, Tim the Toolman, for suggesting, showing you how that works. And this is how it is. Thanks for watching.